Hi, everybody. It's July 4th, 2024. This is my video journal of my recovery from the trauma of being separated from and watching my younger brother, Paul Kierans, be killed by the Burnaby General Hospital. So, just by way of background, Paul is 2 years younger than me. He was born in 1958. We grew up together and visited at will, and I took care of him at my home on weekends and holidays until I objected to secret power of attorney that his group home, L'Arche, L'Arche. It's a worldwide cult started by Canadian retired naval officer Jean Vanier and his sidekick, a defrocked, excommunicated Catholic priest, Thomas Philippe from France. So they started up these group homes for the most vulnerable, profoundly disabled adults, incapable adults. And then they hired young women to work there that they preyed upon. They had created this sex cult. So when I discovered that L'Arche had created this fraudulent and forged power of attorney, they ordered appointing my 81-year-old nun sister, with whom we've never lived, 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, as Paul's guardian. I objected, and they ordered her to terminate his visits with me. Today would have been a visit. We had an agreement where I could visit him twice a week. This would be the Thursday visit. I haven't got the heart to delete the notifications from my schedule, from my phone, so it still buzzes when it's time to visit with him. So they terminated his visits on September 12th, 2022, and he had a stroke on April 13th of 2024, and he was dead 10 days later. The nun flew out a couple of days after he had the stroke, and I believe she instructed the hospital staff to sedate him to death. So I watched my brother be struggling to recover. His health was very fragile, but he was recovering. He was struggling. He wanted to live. He looked happy. He was thrilled to see me. He grabbed a book from my hand, turned the pages perfectly. But when I went back to court to restore our visits on April 22nd, I believe my sister told the medical staff at Burnaby General Hospital to kill him. So what they did was they sedated him to death. He couldn't withstand. He was recovering, but he was very fragile, and he couldn't withstand the depressive impact of the drugs. They were killing him. They put too much of a strain on his, I think it's the automatic or sympathetic nervous system. Could not withstand the painkillers and the sedation and they withdrew all medical support. This isn't a secret. I've complained to the coroner, and I've asked that his death be reclassified as a homicide. And I haven't heard back. Well, I've complained to the British Columbia coroner and to the College of Physicians and Surgeons. So, and Paul and I are devout Catholics. We can't consent to medical assistance in dying. We can't consent. And he wasn't dying. He wanted to live. So that's that aspect of it. I'm struggling to recover from the trauma. I mean, people die. Almost everybody in my family has died. My mother, my father, my favorite brothers and sister. 2 brothers and 1 sister. And, and I've recovered. But this is not dying. This is watching helplessly as a loved one. He's my last relative. Paul was my last relative left in the lower mainland of BC, within visiting distance. So now there's nobody. So I'm still waiting to hear back from the Supreme Court of Canada on our file. We need your help. Please continue to pray for us. Go to your temple, your synagogue, your mosque, your gurdwara, and pray for us. I'm trying to change the law in Canada so that legal guardians of incapable adults cannot isolate and confine them. That it does not give them the right to isolate and confine them. The law, this is called the Uniform Guardian Reform, and 22 states have adopted it. In the United States, it's called Peter Falk's Law. Peter Falk's second wife wouldn't let his adult daughters visit him after he had a stroke. And so his daughter, Catherine Falk, started the Peter Falk Foundation, and for the purpose of bringing about reform across the United States. And 22 states have adopted Peter Falk's Law, which prohibits guardians and conservators of incapable adults from isolating and confining them. So that would be something if Paul and I could change the law in Canada. And in Canada, I'd like it to be called Paul's Law, so that guardians cannot use the power over incapable adults to retaliate against loved ones that they don't like, which is what my sister did. My sister basically can't get along with anybody. Everybody hates her. She's just a bitter old nun. And so she retaliated by isolating and confining my little brother from me. Truly evil. I didn't think I'd have to get to be this age before I'd see true evil. So pray for us. Contribute to our GoFundMe account by clicking on the link in the description box for this video and copy and paste the draft email that I put in the description box for this video asking decision makers to change the law in Canada. Happy 4th of July, Independence Day to all my wonderful American friends. My specialty and my Bachelor of Arts degree in literature was American literature, and my favorite course was Twain, James, and Faulkner. That was Mark Twain, Henry James, and William Faulkner. I think William Faulkner is the greatest writer that's ever lived. He's, read Go Down Moses. But those Americans, they sure know how to write. Truman Capote's In Cold Blood is also a fantastic must-read book. So, Paul, I miss you so much. Today was particularly hard. I'm struggling, really struggling to recover. I missed you so much today, dear. I don't know what to do with all your games and puzzles and art supplies. But anyways, happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful day.